Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus The Riven realms. I decided to go talk to Prince Vagrus at the market, the kind of crazy guy who killed all of his siblings. And sure enough, he does have some info about the masked men carrying the standard, so let's ask him about it. I might have, the man's voice trails off briefly, but do you expect me to share it just out of the kindness of my heart? You raise an eyebrow and are about to start negotiating for a price when the prince continues fairly abruptly. Fine, let's not be said that Prince Vagrus is unkind. I'll divulge what I know because I can see that it is so important to you, Vagrus. His men chortle and jeer, but don't forget that I did. Suddenly the merriment is over and you're pierced by cold gazes. Do you hear? You owe me for this. You nod slowly but say nothing. The prince claps his hands and continue. The fellow you speak of passed through the markets. They were aloof, as one would expect from the usual barmies from up the mountain. We only took notice because they were so bloody intent on being unseen. They smelled of the effort, you understand. Anyway, they turned out to be harmless. They are long gone now, in case you're looking for them. Said they'll go east. Who knows what they wanted out there? Maybe march into the dead forest and become undead. One can never be sure with these idiots. That's all. Now, was there anything else? Didn't I just ask him about this? Yeah. We'll leave. Okay, so I think that means we need to head east from here. Yeah, and go check out. Okay, I'm changing my mind. Last episode I said I was gonna go back up the mountain. I think we head to the Bountiful Glade, check in there to see if they have any info on where those guys might have been. We also might want to pop up to the lumber camp. I didn't even think about that. Like, is that available to me? I assume so, because it's south of the River Umbra. Okay, so let's go back to the Stadio, grab our whole squad. We have so many scouts. All right, load up the fighters. We'll grab our mounts of lizards. Swap to the lizards. Beast of Burden. And then I would like to get more lizards. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna have like our own scrap heap comitatus just like hanging out here when we whenever we hang out in this locale. I don't want any more workers. You guys can leave. And then how are we doing? Yeah, we're doing great. Let's buy all of this. Oh, that's all of my stuff. Okay, so let's buy all of the supplies they have. You guys have anything? Procure goods for the Hollow Men. Okay. I mean, I could do that. I won't do it now, because I'd have to take it up the mountain. But for now, I think we're in just a good spot. We can take you down. Replace you with the extra storage. Put the Cauterizing saddlebags up here. And then our Tarkian awnings. And then I think travel saddles is a good way to go, but I forget where you can put those. Harnesses or miscellaneous. Is that better than Tarkian tents? I'm not sure. Although the protective harnesses are better than that. And then the blinders and combat saddles are better than that. Okay, cool. And then we shouldn't have. We should have our. Oh, we don't have our Yerg with us. Okay, never mind. Okay, we can leave this guy up here then. Good news. Okay, we don't have any movement, so let's rest. Yeah, looks good. Let's go back to 100%. Yeah, it's fine. Heals up. And then let's head out into the east. Okay. I think this is the camp. So let's go up there first. We have 22 days worth of food. So, oops. And we have a small army again, so I'm feeling pretty confident. Go ahead and send our dudes out into the wasteland. Failed, but nobody got hurt, so that's fine. We do it again. Yeah. I forgot to send my people out. Oops. Ooh, what's this about? Hold up. Hold up. There's a bridge. Neat. The dark line on the horizon, you have been watching get closer and closer in the last hour or so. I always gotta take a picture. That'll be the screenshot for the episode for sure. The dark line you have been on the horizon you have been watching get closer and closer in the last hour or so turns out to be a deep chasm with a fast-running, wide river at its rocky bottom, some 100 feet below the precipice. This is the Umbra, and it cuts across the plains from east to west. You soon find the ancient bridge, the only place where one can cross over to the other side, but to your dismay it seems to have fallen to ruin despite its dwarven origin. The destruction was thorough, except for the two now sadly overhanging bridgeheads. Everything else is lying in rubble piles at the bottom of the chasm. Without the ingenuity of dwarven or imperial engineering, pristine resources, and a lot of time, rebuilding the bridge is impossible. That sounds like something that I'd be up for the challenge up for. Dude, how cool would it be if we could get back to the Onyx Outpost that way? Neat. Who knows if that'll actually work, but I love the idea. All right, we check in on the camp here. How's it whoa. I thought those were all dead bodies. Of the many bleak lumber camps along the benighted border of the Dead Forest, the old Tenebrous Outpost has an especially dark history. Forgotten for a long time, it might still have something to offer for the region. Little more than dilapidated structures in the throes of disrepair, and destitution can be seen at first glance. The outpost verges on the morbid frontier of the Dead Forest, though it is perhaps fitting that it has as much life and vitality within it as the forest it offers an entrance to. The sight of so much desolation leaves you wondering if this place was ever more than this. One can only imagine. As a Vagrus, a stroll in and around the edges of its confines proves intriguing in an entrepreneurial sense. While the mood is somber, the outpost desolate, it could prove a worthwhile venture for those among your allies, friendly factions mostly, looking to establish an operation and have unique access to the forest. Out here, finding those who have the means and wherewithal is no simple task, though long-term doing so would serve you and the Comitatus well indeed. That's really interesting. Opportunity at the fringes. The rightful sovereign of Scrap Heap. So maybe we have to establish the Scrap King first. Or do we choose who we want to talk to amongst the candidates and then we can help them set it up? Very cool. I just came here on a whim. That's really neat though. Get a little bit of extra marching and we go down to the Bountiful Glade. I'm hoping the Bountiful Glade oh, you know what I forgot to equip? I forgot to equip our axles that give us more movement. Yeah, wheels and yeah, better than tents for sure. Yeah, I shouldn't even be using you. You don't do anything. You only work in mountaineering mode, I just realized. I'm just holding on to... They're like, why are you wearing those backpacks? I'm like, I don't know, man. That doesn't really change anything. Just kind of interesting. Can I have two wheels on at once? Nope. Where's my tent? Where'd you go? There you are. Good. We do have a little extra movement today, so let's send our dudes out. Nice! Critical success. We got some herbs out of it. Cool. Way to go, team! Thanks, Water Rod. All right. Approach the camp. We'll help them fight the slugs. We've done this before. I don't know what happens if you don't. Like, do they overwhelm the... do they overwhelm everybody and they all just die? That would be sad. Especially when I have, like, such a good way of defeating them. You guys aren't stunnable, so I'm just gonna boost Nadir and have her burn everybody to death. Ew! Oh, you missed me. Tendrils. Stab the big one? You guys have been blocking a lot. I'm recording this episode right after the other one, so I'm like fresh off the battle between Gorgoro and the guy, and he like crit me twice and blocked all of my attacks. Thank God Gorgoro is like super beefy in my playthrough, because he can just kind of handle anything that comes his way. Alright. Okay, keep going, Eilani. I'm gonna try to focus fire this side. Oh, that's right, you guys live... I assume you can like come back to life maybe if I leave you alone long enough. Who's Nadir again? Gorgoro, I think you kill this dude. Oh, he lived. I was gonna say, if you can drop everybody before they come back to life, they all just die, so. Guy's down, and then maybe... No, you got way too much HP. Oh, we got the crit to kill him. Ha ha ha. That went pretty well. Yep. Ooh, they gave us... Oh, cool. I'll take wood for a couple slug killings. Okay. To the barracks? Nope. To the shack. Mingle with the patrons? Nah. I was hoping some of these people would know about the Hollow Men, but apparently not. Yes! Apparently Botheus knows about the Aquila, or maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Yeah, okay, ask him about the Aquila. Botheus regards you in silence for a moment, stroking his forked beard. His eyes light up, just as they do, he seems willing to open up. Now that you mention it, yes, I did have a few of those fellows a while back. Gods, were they willing to protect the Aquila of theirs? You push him to elaborate on the Aquila. Well, dear Vagrus, I know not of its like. It seemed imperial to me, but these men, they were cut from a different cloth. A rugged cloth, if I do say so myself. He surmises before taking a deep breath. We took them in. They were, after all, well trained and good in combat. What could we do? I took them in because I believed in their good. You ask him what these men he speaks of were doing here. These men, always in those helmets, never took them off, they did. Shocking, truly shocking. Still, I haven't a bad word for them, not really. It's just that they started having conflicts with our guards. They couldn't agree on anything. Gods, it was awful. They helped protect us from the creatures that beset the perimeter, that's true. But by the end, I was happy to put them onto Ghazi, our guide. He'll help many souls circumvent the voiceless lake, but they do so at their own peril. But these men, well, let's just say we won't miss them. You ask Botheus where he thinks these men went. Avernum, I can be sure of that. They told Ghazi so. Had some urgent business there, they told him, and look, dear Vagrus, I'd appreciate it if we kept this between us. Whatever you do in Avernum, Realmgate or no, it's best that they not be connected with the Glade. Otherwise, seek them as you will. Those within the house won't be doing that, so it's your opportunity. Do I make myself clear? Yes? Alright, well, we have to go to Avernum. Yeah. Neat. There is no way we get to Avernum, right? Because of the wound? Where the hell is the Voiceless Lake? I remember that from the prologue. Do you think if we burn the wound we can get to Avernum that way? It'd be kind of wild. But we're definitely gonna do that right now. Do you guys have any supplies I can have? Heck yeah. I'll just buy all of it. I got so much money, man. To the wound we go. All right, rest up. Get some vigor back, maybe. And then into the gross. Approach the wound. Gather your companions and begin the trek towards the wound's precipice in search of the abominable wanderer. Best squad. Assemble. Okay. Yeah, we wanna utilize this. Okay. The wounds. What are we doing? In the disturbingly familiar confines of the wound's outer perimeter, the stench of this land begins to overpower you once more. Everyone is reminded of the sheer disgust you are set to endure. Even this far out, you can see the sluggish, otherworldly slug things in the distance, yet somehow there seem to be even more of them. Perhaps it is just your imagination. Turning back once you you move shall prove difficult, so you spare a moment alongside your komes to consider your decision. Again, the party is assailed by an intensifying stench. It is difficult to say if it is worse than before, but at a glance at your companion's face spurs introspection nonetheless. They feel it too. The gangrenous miasma permeating your nostrils is sickeningly familiar, as are the abominations who you are now sure are converging upon your position ever so slowly. You know the way forward, how to find the Wanderer, but the harsh reality of the situation unfolding before you is unnerving to say the least. With great haste, you and your companions move closer and closer to the wound's precipice. As you close in, however, you must slow your movements. For the reek has become too much, the edge too far. You will not reach it before you have to defend yourselves. Trudging forward, you now feel certain your earlier musings were correct. Somehow the conditions are now worse. The wound's fetid putridity has already become so intolerable that you must steel yourselves just to continue forward. We succeeded. Members of the group, yourself included, double over and gag or appear on the verge of expelling their previous meals, but determination, toughness, and strength of will serve as a bulwark against the reek. By the time you are ready to push forward once more, the vile pale things are the next of your problems. They slither and crawl toward you, all writhing gray flesh and exposed innards. You are close and can hear the abominable wanderer screeching and groaning from inside the wound itself. Your companions draw their weapons and ready themselves for the coming battle. As they do, you realize you are all but surrounded. The twisted creatures now desire your death. Well, we'll see about that. Begin. Let's try to take out one of the little ones, maybe? You should always lead with the fireball. I realize I haven't been doing that. But by leading with the fireball, she can end her turn with the ward if you boost her with Scornar. Oh, that was a sick crit. It was so much damage. It was like a 6s and 7s across the board. Amazing. Don't you dare get up again, middleman. All right, throw down your wards. And then you axe the big guy. All right, she's wiped all of them out. Amazing. Just kill the body in front of you, and then everybody else focus fire the big dude. I think we axe you instead of trying to get double attacks out of Nadir. That worked just fine. The first of the creature's sickening ranks have fallen, but more are soon upon you. You are surrounded and must keep fighting them off. Amid the heightened sense of awareness so common in such fights, the gangrenous reek that pierces your nostrils is almost an afterthought. Almost. Let's keep fighting. Same squad as last time, so we'll try to keep Eilani from getting hit more this time, maybe. Not as good of an attack as last time. Boost Nadir, get a chain lightning going. Not as strong as the first chain lightning. Be kind of cool if when Gorgoro swings like that double attack, he could heal twice because he hits 2 people, but that would be kind of not fair. or at least harder to balance. Throw down your wards. Burn the corpse, burn the body. He's down. Burn the big guy. Chain lightning. Big guy's dead. These bodies are in the way of Gorgoro, actually, so I had to kill them. Oh, you're stunned. I didn't know they could stun you. Surprise, surprise. Second battle down. Not so bad. These are way better than fighting the chunky dwarves of Quathos. I hated those guys. Your blood sings as the last of the creatures are felled, a victorious vigor swelling within you. Further otherworldly screeches and low groans come from the wound itself. More of the slimy, sanguinous creatures approach, and your companions ready themselves anew. A third battle! Man! Rough stuff. Alright, let's go. Once again, this time Eilani has to face down the big dude. Oh, wrecked. Absolutely ruined. That was really good. I'm very impressed with my companions. Good dodge, good dodge. All right, chain lightning. I don't know what the debuff is on chain lightning. What is this? What are you debuffed with? Oh, it lowers their initiative. That's kind of cool. I guess that kind of makes sense if you think about, like being electrocuted. It kind of seizes your muscles up. There we go. That was a good battle. When the last of the enemy falls, you are surrounded by a wealth of pale, viscera-colored bodies. Covered bodies. Gangly appendages lie strewn about in a morbid display. The carnage you have wrought is impressive, but there is no time to tarry. More slug things slither towards you in the distance, and from the wound's precipice. Even worse, the slain ones seem to be compelled by some unseen force to merge and fuse. There is no telling what the process will lead to. Thus, you spur the party into action, and in moments, you are closing the last of the distance between the broken terrain. When you reach the precipice and peer over the edge, your eyes are immediately drawn to the abominable wanderer, who has, as far as you can tell, become larger. His mutated mass of flesh is a twisted, depraved horror, and in his hollow visage you will find only agony and madness. Tearing your gaze from it, you take the ruin-etched orb and lower it down toward the horror by the chain it is attached to. As it approaches its twisted target, you begin chanting the incantation. The reek of the wound and the oppressive nausea make matters difficult, but you do not stumble upon your words, nor do you fumble the lowering. Incarnus taught you well, and when there are but 2 words left to say, you touch the ruined orb to the vile creature's pulsating flesh. Its many eyes turn in unison to peer at it, and then turn to gaze at you. Is it fear that you recognize in them? You shout the last few syllables of the incantation. The second the last word is uttered, the runes on the orb's coppery surface flash with orange, fiery light. A blink of an eye later, the relic emits a loud, metallic sound, and suddenly the stored lava from its inside begins spraying forth, spilling all over the wanderer's abominable form. An infernal screech rises to a crescendo. The white-hot ichor keeps flowing from the levitating orb, apparently without end. The quantity is clearly much greater than the gallon of lava that you had thought could fill the orb's inside, and yet the flow does not last. Indeed, it is already dying down. The orb, melted and malformed now, falls to the bottom of the chasm, its destructive load utterly spent. The lava still eats at the wanderer, whose form is much diminished, and whose screams have died down now. Before the abomination finally burns to a scorched stump, its remaining eyes look up. Right into your eyes, a single mouth talks, and although you cannot hear it, you can read its lips. Thank you. Then it moves no more, the remainder of its corrupted flesh inert. Its eyes sizzle, its moans are silenced, and its last progeny is exploded into gunk. Finally dead then, you think. Silence engulfs the area in the aftermath. And you take that silence as an opportunity to look around, noticing that your companions have done so too. Soon you notice something. The sickly gray slug things you saw approaching your position from before are gone. Upon closer inspection, you observe the remnants of their demise, pools of goop and nothing more. Not one among them has anything resembling life remaining. In fact, as you look upon their pitiful remains, it is hard to imagine them ever being alive. Not wishing to tarry in this terrible place, you rally your companions to action and begin making your way back to the Comitatus. The trek back to the crew is uneventful. The stench stays with you, but the closer you get to your comes, the more it fades. You almost get used to it. Then, just as you leave, you turn your gaze back toward the disgusting gorge in the broken terrain that is the wound, and thank the gods you are now free of its grasp. It is time to head back to Boethius at the Bountiful Glade. Cool. Well, we did good. We'll head back. We don't quite have enough move. Well, we could force march, and I just did. So, there you go. Nothing to battle because we killed everything. We talk to Boethius. We tell Boethius that the threat at the wound has been taken care of. Gods, dear Vagrus, is that true? It is truly an amazing feat, Boethius says, beaming. You confirm that it is in whatever fashion you deem appropriate. And tell me of it, please. Describe the destruction of this thing, he implores. I imagine it was quite the show. Terrible place, the wound. Glad I've never stepped inside it. I mean, no offense and all, but it is hardly suited to one such as I. I'm sure you agree, yes? Indeed, the wound is no place for a man like Boethius. You elaborate on the lead-up and demise of this creature that was once the wretched wanderer, and up until a point the bald man plays with his forked beard, seeming contemplative. He is ecstatic when you tell him of the slug things, acknowledging that he himself has not seen them in a while. When you get to the aftermath, however, he appears queasy. He holds up his hand, a clear signal not to continue further. Thank you, dear Vagrus, but that really was a little too much information. I shan't like to have nightmares, he says with an edge of fear before taking a deep breath. It's bad enough with this most luscious of glades, and the edge of the dead forest. After a moment of uncomfortable silence, you oblige the fellow and broach the matter of your reward. Boethius nods and beckons you to follow him deeper inside the pavilion-sized tent. Moving between luxurious furniture and past the more frugal living space that is presumably for his lessers, he leads you through a silk curtain into a lounge where several men and women appear to be relaxing at tables or on couches. Now where is he? Boethius says under his breath. It is not long before you lay eyes on a man of Tarkian descent smoking from a hookah at a table with two young women. He is of lithe and graceful build with long dark hair. He appears to be in his late 20s or early 30s. As he reclines on his chair, his feet resting on an empty chair next to it, he spares a glance your way. He flashes a debonair grin. This man, whoever he is, knows that he is a charmer. Ah yes, Gazi, Boethius exclaims, but you feel his heart is not really in it. And who might this be? He responds in a smooth, drawling timbre. The Vagrus who you'll be taking south from now on, if required, of course, he hastily adds, and for a moment the Tarkian looks mildly irritated. In a decisive manner, he rises and puts his hookah on the table, only to address the young woman at the table. Ladies, please, we will talk later. Business calls, Gazi says with an air of mystique. The two young women swiftly depart. Then it is only you and your companions, Boethius and the Tarkian man. Now, here's how it's going to be. You are going to take the Vagrus south past the Voiceless Lake when required. Do I make myself clear, Gazi? Boethius adds with an air of authority. But he gets no answer. Gazi instead walks forward and shakes your hand before bowing. Then he turns to look at the corpulent Boethius and speaks. I am a busy man now, master, he says with mocking playfulness. I will need to be compensated. There's an awkward silence before Boethius can muster a response. Very well, you can claim your exorbitant payment upon return to me, he says. I'm afraid that won't do. See, Vagrai, they're wealthy folk. Tell me, Vagrus, will you be able to offer me reasonable recompense for my services if I am to stay with your comitatus for long? I become accustomed to a certain kind of lifestyle, you understand. A smarmy, charming smile begins to flourish. Gazi is pleased with himself. There's little you can say, for the Voiceless Lake is perilous, and it is no wonder that the man recognizes his position as valuable. You tell him that you will do what you can. Good enough for me, he quips, holding his smile while looking at his master. Then it's settled. Do you wish to take me now? I'll be here as long as you need me. Just come see House Philonis's prestigious leader at the glade, Easy. Boethius shuffles uncomfortably and turns to you. The question is, do you wish to take the guide now, or will you instead pick him up when or if it suits you? Yeah, we'll pick him up later. We don't really want to go south right now. Understandable, Gazi responds swiftly before he flashes another debonair grin. As I said, I'll be here. You'll usually find me in the lounge, but talk to my master. He inflects the last word. He's always pottering about, aren't you, Boethius? You cannot help but notice the cutting edge in the Tarkian's tone. Yes, Boethius responds awkwardly before his demeanor shifts. Come back any time, Vagrus. Now, Gazi, thank you. This will be all. Return to your duties here. Gazi bids you farewell with a mild but sincere gesture. He disappears through a silk-curtained entrance without a glance backward. I've no doubt he'll be back to those women in no time, Boethius says in a small conspiratorial voice before he clears his throat. You get the sense that he is regaining his composure. Now that is taken care of, let us speak more of your reward. I am no fool. I know that what you did was the hardest of feats, truly. He retrieves a pouch of coins, a bronze lockbox, and several amphora filled with wine. Top stuff this, best of the best, and again, dear Vagrus, thank you. Your efforts will make our lives here at the Glade better, and I mean that. Let you be known as the hero of the Glade. Indeed, bear our house's banner if you so wish. I instructed my subordinates to deliver one to your crew, he pronounces. You thank him, but you do not continue, which prompts Philonis, the overseer, to begin anew. Oh, and there's something more too, a small, how shall we say, update. Yes, update. We got wine, jewelry, a valuable treasure, and some renown, and a bunch of money. You ask Boethius what he means. Now that the path is clear of those creatures, trade between the glade and the south will be bolstered. We've been operating on the scarcest of supplies, I tell you, and now that will change. More importantly, I might add, I can show you the path by the Voiceless Lake. I must insist you take Ghazi whenever you go through. He may be an irksome fellow at times, but he knows it like the back of his hand. Or well, like his most recent conquest, I should say. The Thanos Overseer allows himself a short chuckle and devious smile. Curious about his reaction, you push back, asking Boethius what he means by that last comment. Oh my god. Oh, it was imprudent of me, no matter. Ghazi has his tastes and just so happens to include, well, young women. Not too young, mind. All are willing participants. He just likes them youthful and luscious. One might turn one's nose at such licentious behavior, but I am no judge. Creepy. A few moments of silence drag by as the Overseer straightens his large gown and then walks over to the shelf of books nearby. One particular tome is of interest, and from within its pages he grasps a large folded map before unfurling it on a tall table in the vicinity. You recognize the terrain. It is Tarar Barak. This map shows you the way, with or without dearest Ghazi, Boethius says, pointing at the bountiful glade. His fingers begin tracing a pre-drawn line. Follow and do not stray from this path. If our man is with you, the Voiceless Lake will give you less trouble. You do not need to take him, though I would advise you do, before frowning slightly and leaning in. I do not say this lightly, dear Vagrus, for we have become friends, have we not? Both House Thalanis and I would positively hate to see you come to some kind of unfortunate incident, he explains, forcing a smile. Regardless, take a look at the map. No doubt you'll find the route to your liking. Oh, yes. You pore over the map and realize that each location is clearly marked with lengthy annotations. The bountiful glade, scrap heap, the dead forest, the wound, the voiceless lake, and a direct yet exceedingly narrow path leads south. Any with knowledge of these lands would understand its intention, to avoid the wound and the voiceless lake while skirting the desolate reaches and eerie lights of the Arenas Negras. Its crown jewel Arx Mortis. The path is narrow and perilous, though its contours are clear, the route cemented. You take note of it and thank the Overseer for his transparency. I dare say you should keep it, dear Vagrus. It'll serve you well in coming times of doubt and despair. And you, as will many others now, shall find passage through its guidance. It bears asking, so do you, which others he is speaking of. Oh, you know, Thalanis Comitatai, and friends of the house mostly. Nothing too serious, you understand. I merely wanted to point out that the route will now, given what you have achieved, contain slightly more travelers. The glade will be better outfitted too, though I don't suppose this is of any consequence to you. No matter, he continues. As always, knowledge and wisdom stand supreme. Hold on to this map and these notions. You shall pass relatively unhindered through the southern lands, I'm sure. Cool. Yeah, we'll pick up, we'll try, what I think we should do is try to load up on metal and scrap heap and then just run straight to Avernum, because that's like the scrap metal path is you get a bunch of scrap metal in like Torzag Shelter and just haul it all the way over to Avernum, smelt it down, and then you drag it back to like Larnak? I can't remember exactly where you sell the ingots, but that's a good way to make money. So that seems like a really good way to get a bunch of metal here. And it looks like we've completed the Cauterization quest. All right, well, that's a good place to pause the episode. If you guys enjoyed, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more episodes of Vagrus The Riven Realms or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have your notifications on so you know when the next videos go live. But until next time, everybody, I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.